Hello, welcome to Project Home DIY. I'm Christine, the owner and curator of your Project Home DIY boxes. It's already July and I cannot believe it, but we have in front of us our July project. I'm sure if you're ready to do this video, you have everything unboxed just like me. So let's get started with looking at all the stuff we have and going over everything that we're going to need. So if you're a brand new subscriber, welcome. We're so glad to have you. You should have a new subscriber kit in your box. Make sure you get that out. We will be using the glue gun, so get that plugged in, and the paintbrush. So make sure you're ready with that. And then we have all of our supplies. And you're probably wondering why I have 4 of these here. Well, guess what? Everybody got a different bouquet of flowers. So we did 4 different varieties, which is going to be super fun to be able to see everybody's variation and their surprise color that they got. So I'm excited for that. I'm just going to use one color for our video tutorial, but I did want to share these with you. They're super pretty. Some have different colors, different hues. So it'll be fun to see all those variations that you guys come up with. Make sure that once you do complete your project that you share it in our VIP group, because we love to see everybody's completed projects. So let's get started. We've been asked for a long time for a beaded wreath. Long time. So I hope you guys all love it as much as I do. But it has been one of our biggest demanded items. And I mean, for good reason. It's great. I love them. So they're beautiful. Very first thing I'm going to start with is the beads. And I'm going to stain and glue them all at the same time. So one step here and make it really simple and easy. So we will get started with staining. If you were with us for the clock project, it's over there. I don't have it behind me. You did receive gloves in that project, so you can use those gloves again. If not, I like to use gloves when I stain because I don't like to get stain in my nails and it never comes out. Kind of a normal look for me though because of all this stuff that I do. But right now we're just going to use the stain. And I'm going to stain each bead and glue it right away. So then I'm not having to touch it again and mess with it. But then it'll be on there and it can dry right on the wreath. So the stain that we're using this month is Early American. A lot of times we use dark walnut, but this month it's Early American. One big thing I want to mention with the gluing of the beads, I don't know what's wrong. If you live in a hot, humid climate, hot gluing the beads may not be your best bet. Clearly hot glue melts off when it gets hot and your beads could melt off and come off. So with that, if hot glue does not work for your climate, I recommend using a wood glue. Same exact steps, but just use wood glue instead. It's going to take a little bit longer for that to dry, but it will hold if you are in a hot climate. And even if you're not in a super hot climate, front doors tend to get really super hot if they are in the sun or if they're dark. So I have a dark blue door, and I notice that it does get very hot. So I'm hoping I'm not making a mistake here. But even if I am, and even if it's too hot for my wreath, I think I can just put it inside on the wall too. I'm okay with that. So let's get to staining. And take note, I am not staining the bottom of the beads. I'm leaving those natural because stain is oil-based and the hot glue will stick much better to the natural wood than it would a stained wood. So do not stain the bottom of your beads. Unless you want to let them dry for a couple days, then you can, but don't. You don't need to. Okay, wreath is all finished. You will notice that there are, the beads will not go all the way around, and that's because our floral will take up that room. So it's much easier to put the floral around this, the wreath part than it is around the beads and the wreath. So there will be no beads right here. So keep that in mind, that you will not have enough beads to go all the way around, which that's done on purpose. Okay, next, take your high word and you can stain it if you want. You can paint it. I chose paint, and this color is a super pretty light green. I'm excited about this. It's called Soft Meadow. The high word is painted. There's lots of paint left over. And I'm going to set this to the side, maybe right over there. I always try to include lots of paper for you in your boxes so you can paint on it and use it for your surface so you don't get everything messy. All right, let's start with the flowers. There's gonna be 100,000,001 ways to do this, and it's totally up to you on how you want your yours to go. But let's see. These are gonna be too long for one. So sometimes some of them might pull off, but if they don't worry about that. You can separate out pieces, whatever you, want separated pieces. So I'm going to separate out some stuff. See, I can pull this bottom stem out. Don't need that. I'm going to leave some of them there, and I'm going to end up cutting some as well because I don't need that much length to wrap around the wreath. Okay. Whoa! Flying flower. Okay. My flower came off, so I'm just gonna glue that back in there. There we go. Okay, those are my extra stems. Got a couple leaves. And now I'm just going to take my big focal point, which would be my biggest flower, and I'm gonna wrap it around. You can just wrap the whole thing right around there. Cut off anything extra, it doesn't have wire in it. Okay, so that's gonna be my center main piece. And then I'm just gonna build out with the rest of the pieces and just keep it as even as possible. So like what I do on one side, I'll do on the other side. But you also don't have to do that if you don't want to. Because it's going to be kind of random. And if you get too much of one color in there, break it up with a leaf. You can stuff it right underneath the wire, right in there. And I would also tack it with hot glue. But you're just gonna want to fill that whole area nicely. My trick with hot glue, it's hot, but lick your finger and then gently touch. And the hot glue won't stick to your finger if it's wet. That's my trick. And then you can hold it in place until it dries or cools. Kind of handy. Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys, these are so pretty. So pretty. So I'm just wrapping these around here. However, and then I can move and manipulate them because it's all wire later. I'll just move and rotate it all around and glue it in place where I want it. Oh my. Love it already. Okay, this guy has a nice long stem. I'm just gonna run it in, down in there, underneath all the other pieces of wire, and then I can kind of open him up. I love it, super forgiving. Okay, so I've got most of my floral attached, just attaching one more leaf right here down at the bottom. You kind of just have to find a spot for it to stick, and it goes nicely in its space. I love it. You can spread them out, you can bend them. Once they're glued, like, you can start moving things around and kind of tacking them in place with the hot glue once you find out where you want them to be. That's what I love about that. The floral should stay in place as far as melting and heat goes, because you're wrapping the wires around and then just reinforcing with the hot glue. So if you have any troubles with that, just make sure to just use wire. So I do have just some extra wire here. Any kind of wire will work, and wire will be especially important for the high word. If you are going to put that on, let me grab one of my sanding sponges. But I like to just sand off the edges of the word just a little bit. Okay, there's that. Now, when you're putting the high word on, we are going to hot glue it right to the surface and over those beads. You may find it might work really well having an extra wire or two to help secure that. So just kind of move it around, find where you can have the most points of contact in hot gluing that sucker on there. So I'm seeing right here and here and here in the center, I've got 3 pretty good places where I'm gonna go ahead and hot glue. And then I'm gonna hold that sucker in place until it's good to go. And then I'll probably reinforce with just a piece of wire or two. Any kind of wire will do. And then don't worry about seeing it, because you can take your paint and just touch up right over it. Okay. Just reinforcing more in here. I can see where it's touching, and I just want to get it in there. Okay, right under here, I'm taking just a little piece of wire, and this eye, I'm going to just kind of twist tie that sucker on there. Just because he will for sure not go anywhere. So you can see how I twist tied that right there, and I can hide that wire, and that's hidden because of the leaves kind of go over it. But if you do one where it's not so hidden, like I'm gonna put one right about here, I think. Yeah. Seeing how that's not so hidden? I can take the paint and just touch that sucker up. And it's not gonna go anywhere after that. So I can take my paint and paint that wire. And it will be part of it. Perfect. See a teeny bit of hot glue. If you get hot glue on the beads, you can just take an X-Acto knife, and mine mysteriously disappeared. Probably 2 little boys definitely know where it's at. All turds. Okay, there is the high wreath so far. I'm gonna hang it up there. You probably can't see that. It's probably too tall. Maybe I'll do it right there. I know you can for sure see that. Okay. Last thing is making a bow. And it's actually pretty easy. I want you to not be intimidated by the bows. I know everybody gets a little intimidated by it, but don't be intimidated by it. You can use this bow wherever you want, if you even want to use a bow, totally up to you. Okay, I'm gonna take a piece like this. Oh, and mine has lace on the inside. I couldn't get the right stuff that came in your guys' kits by the time I did this video, so ignore that. But you guys have just plain jute or burlap. I'm going to fold over in 3 layers. So just make sure there's 3 layers in there. 3 full layers. So here's only 2. There's 3 over here. So I need to just go one more time. And that's it. Okay, and I'm gonna cut in the back. So there's my first piece. And see, you can see 1, 2, oops, I might have messed up. 1, 2, 3, oops, I did. Okay, but I'm just gonna re-roll it. It's okay. 1. And the reason you want 3 loops is because that'll give you your bows inside. Okay, now I definitely got it. All right. So there is at least 3 layers of loop. I'm gonna take one more, about that long. This piece doesn't really matter. This is going to be the long tails of the ribbon, okay? And then I'm gonna take one more smaller piece and I'm gonna tie this in a knot. That's gonna be the center knot, okay? So I have 3 pieces, my looped, my tails, and the knotted piece. Take your loop, and you can either use little teeny tiny twist ties if you have them, or wire. I find that I have more wire than anything. And just gather that and tightly twist tie it around. So you're creating the center of your bow. Tight, tight, tight. Okay. Then we tie. If you don't have long enough to tie, which I don't think I'm going to, I'm just gonna glue that on there. So here's my knot in the center. It's a fake knot, it's faux, it's not real. So that's how people make these look so good. It's not a one tie, it doesn't work that way. So we've all been tricked all these years. It's just a fake knot. And what did I do? Did I unplug? My hot glue gun doesn't want to warm up. Okay, there it goes. Okay, that's how you make them look so nice. You create the folds and the creases exactly where you want them by creating a bow instead of tying it from all in one piece. It doesn't work that way. Okay, so you're probably wondering, what now? Now, separate out the 3 pieces of burlap. Here's your bows. Okay, there it is. And now dovetail your ends and make them the appropriate length, because sometimes silly long ones look silly. By dovetailing, you fold it in half and cut up towards the center fold, in towards the center fold, okay? See, there's your dovetail. And that's it. And I gotta turn mine around because I gotta have the jute showing, not the lace, because that's not the real ribbon. So there is our faux bow. You got it. Now you know how to make them. The bigger you make your 3 loops in the beginning, the bigger your fluffs of bow will be. Sometimes when you use wired, you can really fluff up those. I had a, oh, here's my wired one. So this one, you can kind of fluff them up more, but I still like the look. They both look perfect. So if you want, you can also create a loop to hang your wreath from. So just put this on here and hot glue. Almost did it wrong. Be careful when you're hot gluing burlap. It'll leak right through. You see I'm licking my fingers and patting it very quickly. You don't want to burn yourself. So we can use that to hang. And then if you want, you can put your bow there. You can put your bow here in part of the floral. Put your bow over here, here at the bottom, wherever you would like it. So I'm going to finish attaching it right here at my fold. Put a bunch of hot glue. there is your July 2021 wreath. I can't wait to see all your variations of your wreath and using all the different colors of floral. Even choose your own paint, stain colors, whatever suits your decor. That's the best thing about this box. Stay tuned with us next month where we will get to celebrate all of our family members. There's your clue. Thanks, and join us next time. Make sure you join the VIP group. It's one of our best things about this subscription, so I've heard from our subscribers. Join our VIP group. The QR code is at the bottom of your instructions for this kit. Thanks again. See you next time.